Okay, again, good morning, everyone. So, today we are going to start the production management, the second topic, the production and productivity. So, here we are going to mainly discuss about the method, the main types of production methods available in business organization. We can talk about the production methods such as job production. The if you produce one individual item, we call a job production for one customer at one time. And if you produce like a bulk of items with a similar nature for one big whole load, we call batch production. That some garment factories and some organization they are doing batch production like bakeries and all that stuff. We're talking about that production method and their advantages and disadvantages of that production method. And finally, we're talking about the flow production method. That's producing the same item, a unique item, a standardized item in large scale, continuously without any breaks, we call flow production. So those three methods of production are talking: job production, batch production, and flow production. And also, the latter part of this lesson, we're going to talk about how to calculate the productivity. Right? Productivity was an important part because there are two methods of productivity: labor productivity and the capital productivity. So we are going to find out the new calculation method of productivity. The production manager's main measures of success is the productivity calculation, right? So okay, let's go to the lesson. So if you have a textbook, please turn to page number 344. Uh, you can see the production and productivity. This lesson, guys, we are mainly talking about the methods of productivity, right? You can see the uh, learning outcomes, understand the different types of production methods available, and to understand the labor and capital intensive production, understand the impact of different types of production, understand how to calculate productivity, understand the impact of productivity improvements. So this first case study was you can see Bangladesh case study, Mr. Siddiqui. Mr. Siddiqui is a producer handmade suit for men and all ages, right? So market segment is men's, gender basis, right? All ages. He learned the trade from his father and has been making suits for same workshops in Chittagong, Bangladesh for 4 to 3 years. So it's like a traditional, like family-owned business. It's like a tailor for gents clothing. Mr. Siddiqui has an excellent reputation for quality and can make a suit for less than 48 hours. Less than 48 hours, 2 days, within 2 days, he can make a suit. He offers customers a massive choice in terms of different fabric, design, and styles. Each suit is made to the needs and the desires of each individual customer. Mrs. Siddiqui says, I really enjoy my time at work. Every job is different. I like the variation in customer demands. I like the variation in customer demands. I think I have made nearly 10,000 suits since I started, and everyone has been different from some extent. So every job is different from because different measurements, different sizes, different trousers, different shirts, different things are there. So this is the good example of a job production. You can see because every job is different. He made more than 10,000 jobs in 42 years. So he actually expressed his idea about the production. Okay, the other scenario, case study, Mars Incorporated. Mars company, these are chocolate bars and everything, is a multinational producer of confectionery, pet food, and other food. Some of its well-known brands include Mars, Bounty, Stickers, Snickers, and Milky Way, Galaxy, Wriggler, Starburst, Pedigree, Chum, and Whiskers. Mask employs around 80,000 people in 78 factories all over the world. It produces millions of units of chocolate bar and other products to allow the 200 million transaction Mars conduct with the customers each day. In 2015, the family-owned business generated US dollar 33,000 million in revenue, but 33 billion. Yes. Uh, Actually, it's an Australian entrepreneur. The Mars, she is the world's one of the richest lady in the world. Take the world's rich list. This Mars coming under the world's like one of the in the top 10 rich list in the among the ladies. You see, number one is the among ladies is the ex-wife of the uh, Amazon. And then now the Mars was there. That lady who owns this company was one of the richest in the world, out of top in Australian entrepreneur, Mars. Okay, so then we can find out the two comparisons are there. Two production methods used by the above examples. Describe the two reasons why two businesses use different production methods. When you answer in this situation, you can see these two methods of production. A mass is the, you can see it make millions of units of chocolate bar, food, can of pet food and many other brands. Its production methods are capital intensive. This means that plant and machinery are used in large quantities relative to labor. Yeah, it's a standardized. You can see like a batch production, sometimes flow production. You can see millions of productions that there are. Most machines are used in land labor because it's not handmade chocolate. Everything comes with machines and everything. So many brands are producing automated production lines and run continuously for many hours. The photograph show bars of chocolate on a production line. This line will run continuously with millions of units being produced. Every unit that comes off and of the production line will look identical. In contrast, Mr. Siddiqui operates in much smaller scale. He produces handmade suits. Production is labor intensive and involves him working alone making suit by hand. For example, he will use scissor, right, sewing machine, needles and other small items of equipment to make the suits. Right? All these suits are bespoke, that is made to specific custom order. He learned the trade from his father and has been making suits in the same workshop in Chittagong for 3 years. He offers some customers a massive choice of in terms of different fabric design and style. So, what are the reasons? They ask in the last part, describe the reasons why two businesses different from using different production method. You can see uh, mass produces very large scale because its production process is very highly automated. Ne? It's normally we call millions of items they are producing in a day. Therefore, they should go with a large amount of items. You can't produce everything for the entire world. Handmade you can't create. So they need only little use of labor and production line. But they are also using but 80,000 workers they are using all over the world. So about 70 factories. Mars could not use the same production method. Mr. Siddiqui is not practical to make millions of chocolate bars and millions of cans of pet food by hand. However, the suit made by Mr. Siddiqui require craft and skills are appropriate for being handmade. The quality of finished good not be guaranteed with the mass production techniques. That's the thing. However, quality cannot be guaranteed with the mass production technique. But if the job production handmade one, you can guarantee the quality. So that's the thing, right? Mainly, talk about we're talking chapter 41 here about the case study, Mr. Siddiqui and Mars Incorporated. We talk about Mr. Siddiqui used the job production method and Mars used the batch production method. Okay. If we go back to the other methods of production, starting the batch production. Production involves converting resources into goods or services. That's a production definition. Transformation of resources into final product. Input, processing, output. And these goods and services are provided to satisfy the needs and wants of the people. Some example of production would be, you can see a baker using a flour, yeast, salt, and water to make the bread. A large manufacturer using people to assemble components to make laptop computers. Right? A dentist using dental instruments to extract diseased tooth. Right? A taxi driver using a car and petrol to transport a family from their home to an airport, like that. So there are different things. Goods and services are there. Production will be anything. So it can be service production or it can be a good production. So in making the product, business use a different production methods. One of these called the job production. This is where the business produce one product from start to finish before moving to the next. So job production definition is there. You can see method of production that involves employing all factors to complete the one unit of output at a time. Right? Method of production that involves employing all factors to complete one unit of output at a time. So as a result of that, you can see The construction worker, you can see good examples are with job production used when orders are small, such as one-off orders, only one item, and only one house. Ne? Example might include construction of an one office block. So you want to construct one office block, one business, one hotel. That making on a like a, they say, wedding dress, bridal dressing, unique one for you. And drawing up of the persons will on be design of a television actors. So that's the uniqueness of the job production, a unique design, unique style, and one off. So you can't do like a massive, you can see bridal dressing, you can see birthday cake. Unique design, unique preference. For that you can produce. So, job production, there are some advantages and disadvantages. You can see job production suitable when demand is relatively low. However, when the demand grows and orders for multiple units are placed, the business might switch to batch production. What is batch production? This is when where the business make a number of batch products to the same design or specification, and then changes of the production into another product with different specifications. When products are made with batches, the production is usually divided into a number of operations of processes. The table below gives, right? The table below gives the advantage, disadvantage of that thing. You can see uh, the organizations here, the batch production users. You can see the mainly specification. You can see the using specialized equipment and everything, tools and equipment because they need to spend more time on the batch production. Batch production, sorry, like mainly job, not like a job production. Batch production, sometimes you are using a set of people, you can see methods of involved competing one operation at a time on all units before performing the next item. Like a bakery and everything, you can see batch production. But job production means, it's a specific unit only one time, one unit only. Like one birthday cake, only one time. Hmm? One bridal dressing in one time, like that. So job production will be specialist people, specialist tools, because most of the time is labor intensive. However, batch production is not like that. Batch production, you have to do so much of items, batch like 100, 200, 1000. Batch sizes vary. Number of operations are there. So you are using capital and labor both at that time. These are the main features of a batch production. You can see operation of the each unit of batch production, laser cutting, punching, folding, assembly, plating, packaging. So much of descriptions are there. Therefore, in the batch production organization, they can easily use the division of labor. Easily use the division of labor and job specialization and everything. They can use, right? So this is the main two methods actually. So far we talk about the job production as well as the batch production. So job production examples, you can see a bridal dressing. Batch production example, we can see like a bakery. Right? So under flow production, many products are being used in batch production, particularly in engineering, the cloth industry, and food processing. For example, like a canning plant, the firm might be used several different batches of soup. Yeah? And you can see each batch being a different recipe. Products can be produced in large or small batches depending on the level of demand. So large production runs tend to lower the unit cost and the average cost of production. Yeah. So when the batch size become large, the unit cost become lower. If you go, for example, let's say if you go to China and everything, so t-shirts and everything, they're producing garment factories. Their minimum quantity they're asking only at least thousand t-shirts, thousand shirts, batch printing, right? So at least 1000 items they need to prepare. That's the minimum quantity they ask. If you are purchasing from them, they are asked the minimum quantity this much, and they like to offer you this price. So organizations also same. When you are, they like to actually have a big orders always because then they can reduce, they can get the economies of scale, bulk purchase discounts are there. So as a result of them, they will be able to satisfy the maximize their output, maximize their profitability as well. The third method of production is flow production. Flow production in the sense we define a large scale production of a standard product where each operation of a unit is performed continuously one after another, usually on a production line. So flow production may be used when a business can sell huge quantities of output into a mass market. Okay, Flow production results in a lower unit cost. It is organized so that the different operations can be carried out and one after the other in continuous process. Products move from one operation to the next, often on the conveyor belt. They are using sometimes that much of speed and fast, like Coca-Cola company can see. That's right. Same time we're using that again and again. The same items they're using. The production operation like a Coca-Cola and everything. You can see some vehicle manufacturers like Toyota, Coca-Cola, sometimes ice cream manufacturers and everything. They're using this conveyor belt system. The main feature of the flow productions are large quantities are being produced. Standardized product is produced. Semi-skilled workforce. Right? They are only the machine operation skill is important, and specializing in one operation of only is employed. A large amount of machinery and equipment are used. So the main advantage of the flow production. Flow production is used in the manufacture of products as varied as newspapers, food and cement. Repetitive flow of production is the manufacture of large numbers of same product, such as plastic, toy or metal cans. Process production is a form of flow production that is used in an oil or chemical industry. Because it's process production. Sometimes in science and chemistry you might learning the oil, the distillation and everything. That's a process, right? So that's a form of a flow production because it's happened again and again, right? The materials pass through a plant where the series of processes are carried out in order to change the product. You can see with the crude oil, okay? Refining crude oil into petrol, petrol, diesel, super diesel, kerosene, tar, everything gas is a managed process. That also kind of a flow production. Okay, so this is the flow production. So now we talk about the three methods of production. Job production, we talk about the main features of job production, and we talk about the batch production. Secondly, main features of batch production, and finally that we could talk about flow production also. That's the largest level of the production method. Right. Now let's look at the what are the main advantages and disadvantages of all this flow production and batch production and everything. Right. So there are labor intensive, capital intensive is there. Remember we talk about that thing our earlier also we talk about this concept. The labor intensive means some organizations, especially job production, labor intensive, which production methods make more use of labor relative to machine. More use of labor relative to machine. That's called the job, like a job production or something, labor intensive production method. In organization, if you have more laborers than machines, we call it a job production method. Sometimes some organizations are there, compared to labor, they have more machines. Few laborers, few machine operators, but more machines. That's called then capital intensive, where the production method means that production relies on more use of plant and machinery. Okay, so let's again impact of different type of production. Let's look at the analyze job production and batch production. Even the this yeah papers or sometimes these 9 mark questions are normally coming. Option 1 job production, option 2 batch production. Okay? Like option 1 batch production, option 2 flow production. Which method of production is suitable? Justify. Sometimes analyze the advantages, analyze the benefits, analyze the impacts of job production. Sometimes this kind of questions are always heavily asked in the your papers, business papers. These production methods are really important. Therefore, you should know every method, some advantages and disadvantages. At least 2 advantages from each method and 2 disadvantages of each production method. Right. The production of the different types of production is outlined above will have different impacts on a business. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Let's look at the first one, job production. The quality of output from job production is usually is very high. Why? High quality. Why they saying that thing? Job production is very high output. This is because skilled craft workers often carry out the work. Skilled members of workers, they are always carried out the work. Therefore, we can expect a high quality. You can see like we call fine, like a this, always we can say fine product because everyone working hard, specialized workers, and good attention is there, focus is there on the product, the final output. Therefore, skilled craft workers will carry out the work. Workers are likely to be motivated because the work is very varied. Workers are likely to be motivated because the work is varied. Also, each worker is likely to be involved in completing the whole job from start to finish. Right? Each worker is likely to be involved in the completing of the whole job from start to finishing stage. One key advantage to a business using a job production is that products can be custom made. What is the key advantage of production? Customization. What else? You can customize. You can customize your T-shirt if you want. You can write your name. Or you can, yeah, famous celebrity, say famous artist. You can customize. I think these things are there nowadays. You can see now is Zoom and everything. You can customize your wallpaper, virtual backgrounds. You can customize. These facilities are there, so customization options for you. Then you can find out the preferred background for you, finish and everything. So then be motivated because the work is varied. Also, each worker is likely to be involved in completing the whole job from start to finish. Okay, business job production, customization in getting started above. In case Siddiqui's business, you can see he produced nearly 10,000 suits during the life, and then has one is always different from another. Why? Different color size, different waist size, different lengths, measurements are different from different people. Some customers are prepared to pay more if the product is unique. Yeah, sometimes you can see it's customized and everything. Sometimes they like to pay more if the production is unique. We call tailor-made designs, tailor-made. Because in software industries there are two softwares, tailor-made software and off-the-shelf software. Although the product might be easier to organize when the job production may be slower and lead time is longer. That's another thing. Your production will take some long time because it will take, they are doing the work slowly, and they are doing peacefully, they are doing very systematically, so therefore it takes long time than the batch production and the flow production, because they are taking long time because you have to use specialist equipment and tools. And also uh, lead times are longer because you have to wait some time until you order the equipment and the order the fabric material, whatever. You have to wait a little bit of time. This is because craft workers take longer than the machine to carry out other methods. This is the wages of the craft workers will be higher, and specialist tool may be needed. That's a disadvantage of production. Long leading time, and you have to pay high wage rates and everything, huge higher wages to the craft workers, and they have to use higher the specialist equipment tools they have to use. This is the main disadvantage of the using the job production. The second type of production, my dear students, is batch production. What are the evaluation of the batch production? The unit cost of the batch production likely to be lower, right? When batch production is adapted in this is because output is higher. If you want to do high output, better to go for a batch production. And workers can be more specialized, and more use is made out of machinery. Production is also flexible because orders with different measurements, styles or specifications can be still be met. However, planning the coordination may be more difficult. Planning the coordination will be more difficult. For example, if a particular corporation takes longer than all others in the production process, right, it is important that resources employed on other operations are not kept waiting. This is important that resources employed on the other operations are not kept waiting. Another possible disadvantage is that the work may be less interesting to workers because of the specialization. Monotony, boredom, repetition, these things can be expected. Why? It's a batch. You are doing your work again and again, batch production. Therefore, we can see all batches are small, then the unit cost will be still be quite high. So more money may be also be tied up in work in progress, and it moves between the different operations. These things are there in batch production. So batch production is okay because low quality, large number of output can be produced. You can get the economies of scale, discounts and everything for the large bulk purchases. That is possible advantage. However, because the difficulties are there because you have to pay sometimes. Workers problems are there because of the batch size. You can use division of labor, job specialization and everything will leads to uh, monotony and boredom, fatigue. Professional diseases sometimes can be created as a result of the repeating work again and again. right? Again, no motivation at all, because thousands of items daily are doing without any change of work. Sometimes you can see batch production process. You can see in some companies like Foxconn in China, who made the Apple iPhones and everything. These organizations, sometimes there's a high suicide rates is there. Sometimes workers just go and just jump out of the window. Therefore, these factories, they have a suicide nets, they actually management install automatically. When someone jump out of the window, that guy will not fall, and then because they will be they are in the suicide net. Why? To protect them from the depression, because they are doing the work again and again, daily basis. If you have, for example, to put some kind of like a button there, you have to work on that always. 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh item, millions of items. You have to switch on buttons. No? So we'll be like a repeat. You don't. They have no other life. Depression. So have to have proper counseling and guidance and care for these workers, because these workers are very poor, coming from very poor backgrounds. So therefore, batch production workers are sometimes get less payments. Sometimes we call they some minimum wage rate they have. So these are the problems with the batch production. Sometimes you have to make them very interested. That's why motivation should be very important. Otherwise, always they are working. The workaholic attitude is there for the organization, because they want to make the targets and everything achieved. And as a result of that, small batches are always like 100 batch, 200 batch something, because then you can change it the batch quickly. Let's say today you are doing a t-shirt batch, tomorrow you are doing a denim, next day you are doing a frock, like that. So if you can change the item, then workers also will be happy. So otherwise, what happens will be boredom and fatigue. And the other thing is, in a batch production, you have to tie up a lot of stock. Stockpiling is very important. As a result of that, your cash flow can be go down. You have to keep the stocks and everything always in ready, right? More money may also be tied up in the work in progress as it moves between the different operations. Okay, other one is a flow production valuation. You can see flow production can reduce unit cost significantly. If you ask what is the lowest cost production method, flow production, no doubt about it. Why? Continuously producing unit item, same standard item, using more capital intensive. Therefore, output can be produced very quickly, and the speed of production can usually be varied to deal with the changes in demand. Also, some modern technology is also sophisticated and is possible to use quite flexibility. There's another advantage. Modern technology can be useful. For example, car manufacturer can build a car with many different specifications on the same production line. However, the setup cost can be very high for flow production, and employer motivation may be low because of the repetitive nature of production line work. Products also tend to be more standardized, and if production stops, owing into a breakdown on part of the line, delays can be very expensive for the business. Delays can be very expensive for a business organization. This is a flow production advantage and disadvantages. Delays can be very expensive. So if there's a machine breakdown or something happen, the production conveyor belt breakdown or something, so it will affect the entire production. You can't proceed thereafter. So it will be very expensive. Right. So that's the main idea of job production and batch production and flow production. Let's go to the activity number one, Saudi Aramco company. Saudi Aramco company is one of the world's biggest company. Oil refining involves processing the crude oil into several different products. It often starts with the fractional distillation column. Crude oil is heated, and then different products are collected at different temperatures. For example, lubricating oil use motor oil, grease, and other lubricants. Boil at a temperature between 572 to 700. After this chemical process are used to remove the impurities. A system of pipes is used to link all the different processes so that the refining continues interrupted. So this kind of product we can use high labor capital intensive production. High capital intensive. Everything happen in the machines. Pipes and everything, but you need a machine operator to switch on and switch off and control the heat, temperature, and everything. You need some mechanics and engineers sometimes to repair and to get some kind of reports and everything. You need engineers and all. Saudi Aramco is the largest oil corporation in the world and is involved in the all stages of oil production. It manage over 100 oil and gas fields, right, in Saudi Arabia. It employs over 65,000 people and is capable of refining around 2 million barrels per day. Right, they are capable of refining around 2 million barrels of per day, and in 2015, the company was generating about US dollar 1,000 million of revenue per day. So they are generating because of 2 million barrels mean how much? Ne? 1 billion per day. Okay, what is the mean by flow production? Use this case study as an example in your explanation. Okay, let's do that. And assess the advantage and disadvantage of Saudi Aramco of flow production. Make a clear judgment in your evaluation. This is a good 12-mark question, right? Assess the advantage and disadvantage of the Saudi Aramco. So when you're doing this kind of a 12-marker, you have to define what is flow production, two advantages, two disadvantages, and conclusion. Okay, so let's move on to the this answers. Saudi Aramco company, flow, what is flow production and everything. Okay, see here answer fact number one. Saudi Aramco. The flow production is highly efficient method of production. Flow production uh, is organized so that different operations can be carried out one after the other in a continuous process. Products move from one operation to the next. In this case study, process production, a form of flow production, chemical distillation coming under process production. It's a form of flow production. Is used to refine crude oil. Crude oil is heated and the different products are pulled out at different temperatures. For example, lubricating oil used for motor oil, grease, and other lubricants. Boil at a temperature between 572 to 700 Celsius. After this, chemical processes are used to remove impurities. A system of pipes is used to link all the different processes so that the refining continues unstopped. Refining continues unstopped. These things are there. Okay, now the 12 marker question. You can see the answer with the marking, with the application. You can see assess the advantage and disadvantage of Saudi Aramco flow production in the judgment. Look at the definition. Flow production is a highly efficient method of production. Efficient method. Provide large quantities of output can be sold. In this case, look at the way of the applying. You can use that term. In this case, Aramco is the largest oil corporation in the world. It has revenue around 1,000 million US dollar per day. This suggests that it produces vast quantities of oil. Right? Flow production require more large scale production, but result in economies of scale. That's the first advantage. Now, development of the advantage. Therefore, unit cost will be low. Unit cost will be low. Saudi Aramco probably enjoys some of the lowest unit costs in the industry. Right? That's the first advantage. And look at the second para, another advantage, but they haven't opened another second para. The same paragraph mentions the two advantages. Another advantage of flow production is that the speed of production can usually be varied. In this case, oil refining could be slowed down if there was a drop in the demand by pumping less oil into the refinery. And these days they are doing like this because of the COVID, this pandemic thing, the world manufacturing process just halted, they disturbed. So the demand for oil gone down. You can see now world oil market, the oil barrels are actually selling very low prices. So there's a demand for the oil market going down because a lot of people these days you can see are not traveling that much. They are working from home. So the transport and everything was restricted. A lot of people places are isolated. You can see a lot of people your daily actually travel. Now you don't need to travel. You're actually working from home. Then you don't need to pay for the petrol and diesel. So as a result, this is the whole country working like that. Then there is no demand for petrol sheds. Then petrol sheds no demand mean they have stocks will be there, and as a result, the country's oil consumption will decrease. Okay? Country oil consumption will decrease as a result of that. So this is a world situation also same. Factories also same. Factories when they are not working, when the factory shut down, the power and energy sector demand will go down, and as a result, the demand will be go down. So oil prices can be decreased. So the second advantage mentioned they can be speed up the production in different ways. I mean, Coca-Cola also same. Coca-Cola also, they have a, I know one of the engineer, so he's telling that the Coca-Cola, there are three speeds are there. If you want to do, very fast speed, fast sense, because they call bunny method, bunny. That means very quickly and very fast level, they are actually producing very high speed production is there. And if you want to produce very like a low level, very small quantity and produce, they call it turtle method, turtle. So or tortoise. So mainly slowly their production line will be moving, but they want to have some average method. They call the human level, human level. So like that, different average speeds are there. So it's turtle, human, and bunny method like that. Oil also same. They can pump small amount of oil for refining, for just to actually capacity utilization. So other one what happened? They drop in the demand, they pump in less oil to refine. That is flexible. Production is flexible. Alternatively, to speed up the production, more crude oil of the can be pumped in. Some of the refining facilities operated by Saudi Aramco might be quite flexible because of that. For example, the company may be able to produce many different products from refineries. So flow production, you can see at the end they say now at two advantages are there, right? Flow production, you can see the organization has disadvantage as well. The cost of building a large oil refinery is huge, right? Oil refinery requires a very large financial investment, and many companies could be not afford the setup cost. Setup cost. However, a corporation like Saudi Aramco is not likely to be restricted in operations by lack of financial resources. That's why, because the setup cost is very high. It's not easy, right? High setup cost is there, high charging cost is there, not affordable for a lot of organization, but Saudi Aramco company can do that thing very easily. This might be lead to mistakes and a lot of output, right? That's the main advantage of that thing. So guys, uh, mainly so you can see guys, mainly Saudi Aramco company, two advantages, flexibility is very high and cost can be reduced, purposely we can reduce cost very high scale. What are the main disadvantages again? Disadvantages, cost of building refinery is very high, high cost to set up. But they say at the end, but Saudi Aramco company can manage it. Ne? Corporations like Saudi Aramco company may not like to be restricted in its operation by a lack of financial resources. Another problem might be staff motivation. If jobs are done, people working in refineries are boring. They often on the production lines, their motivation may suffer, and this might lead to mistakes and loss of output. Yes, some workers they have to go and work 100 days. Ne? Without holidays. They are going to work in the middle of the sea. And 3 months consecutively work. Then only they can go for like a small out. They can come back to home after that. Finally, the business using flow production are risk if breakdowns occur. If one pump is breakdown, you know what happened in Sri Lanka also once. It was there one pump is breakdown, and what happened? We had to wait long time without oil until the next oil tanker comes. Will break down or something, then entire system will break down. As a result of that, the refining process, everything will be take necessary stop to flow production while repair take place. While repair done, you have to stop the production. This could be prove very successful, expensive, but look at the judgment at the end overall. In this case, the advantage using flow productions are much greater than any disadvantages. Right. So you can see guys, so in my today lesson, so what I want to tell you is mainly the three production aspects we talk about. What are three production methods? Job production, batch production, and the flow production. Now we know the main definitions, the advantages and the disadvantages. That's the first part of this lesson. In my next part, next day, I'm going to do the productivity part. That's all important. We are going to combining all these factors of production part into the productivity. How can business organization improve the business productivity, labor productivity? How can they improve the labor productivity? How the business can improve the capital productivity? So these concepts I'm going to teach you in my next session. right? So now you have a very good idea what is production, what are the production methods, what are the advantages and disadvantages, and evaluation questions also you know how to write with this advantage and disadvantages. So any organization in this world, they stick to one of these three methods of production. So you know, if we take a bakery, they are doing batch production. You take garment factory, they are doing batch production. Coca-Cola, flow production. Toyota, flow production, right? Different, any organization now should be able to, if I name one organization, you should be able to tell what is the production method. And you should know what are their advantages and disadvantages, and you should be able to select the most appropriate technique of production in your business organization. Okay, so I think that's it for the lesson. So thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.